Greetings, I'm Jonathan Spear. You don't need automation to do automation, and welcome to Modern Skyblock 3 Supershorts. Once again, I received a fair amount of advice and found some more of my own. So I want to give some tips about early game automation that you can start going even before you get some better tools. If you're wondering about killing mobs automatically, you can just use traps from Dark Utilities. The one I want the most is the player trap, but that requires heads, so let's see what we can do to get that. The beheading modifier from Tigger's construct requires ender pearls and obsidian. I have tons of ender pearls and tons of lava, but how do we get obsidian? We can't make alloys in our melter, so we'll have to break the obsidian. And do I really want to use 3 of my diamonds on a diamond pickaxe? Hello manasteel sharpening kits, which upgrade tools to a mining level of obsidian. Let's set up another crucible with liquid magma. Let's also put some stone walls around our combustion heater so that we can have a valid multi-block that we can throw items into. Look how fast this lava melts. Let's make a stone sharpening kit and put it inside this porcelain casting table so we can make what's called a cast. With 2 gold, we can make a cast. With 2 manasteel, we can make a manasteel sharpening kit. Combine it with flint to get a bone pickaxe that can break obsidian. With great patience, obsidian. Let's make some platinum ore dust. Platinum ore dust is pretty inefficient, so I upgraded my condenser. Also, it's better as ingots and not blocks. A pattern chest also doubles as a cast chest. We'll make our sword blade out of platinum, with a netherrack handguard and an ardite tool rod, which requires magma cream and glowstone. Let's make a long sword which deals above average damage even if it's a little bit slower. The attack is amazing against non-nether mobs thanks to the netherrack handguard, and both of these traits help durability a lot. Now to add a 30% chance to get the enemy's head-on kill with 3 beheading modifiers. I accidentally died by evolved enderman when I wasn't looking. That gave me a grave key which I could use to right-click on my grave and get all my items back. Unfortunately, I lost all my precious XP, which I could have stored if I had made a tome of knowledge, which I was about to do. 4 player traps. Behold the first step of this mob farm. This mob farm is 24 blocks high. That's just tall enough that I can be within 21 blocks of the edges of the mob farm and mobs will still spawn. For this mob farm, I've taken a page out of Willick's book. These stone slabs will prevent spiders from spawning. These spawning platforms are also fairly thin. I do that so the mobs won't spend so much time milling about and making lag before they walk into the water and fall to their doom. As you can see, 8 blocks is just enough for water to flow all the way without falling. Let's make some fire-resistant mob filters in order to weed out ancient golems. Only ancient golems will fall through this hole and, presumably, into the void. Behold! Just look at how many mobs there are. This should be slightly more representative of what's happening. We can look over at options and full screen map to change mob display to small icons. It was suggested that I make an automatic furnace. To do that, let's start with a bunch of rails, including detector rails and powered rails. 15 hoppers. I'll set up 7 furnaces in a U like this, with hoppers pointing in and out into a chest, and rails running on top. We'll finish off our loop like this. Now let's make an advanced redstone repeater from random things, which lets us set the time it takes for a repeater to turn on and then turn off. Wooden hoppers seem to transport 1 item every second, and based on my testing, these numbers correspond to real-world ticks, not redstone ticks. That means 20 ticks means a second. The minimum you can set is 2 ticks because a redstone pulse takes 2 ticks. Also, you can press shift to increase by 10. Let's set our turn-on delay to 150 or 7.5 seconds and our turn-off delay to half a second. Then we can make a minecart with a chest and a stone big button so I can press things repeatedly and quickly. Actually, this is a bit too fast. I had to change the layout here a little bit so I could give it a hill. That way, when the powered rail turns on, the cart starts moving forwards. This system works best when the on-off delay is set to 130. Then, it pulls and distributes exactly 7 items into the furnaces. We could probably do a similar thing to distribute charcoal, but I kind of ran out of space. You get what I mean though. This chest is gonna get full fast. To preempt that, I need better storage and better automation. It took me a while, but I managed to grind up the 64 obsidian I need for the first part of one of these quests. I need such a large quantity of gunpowder for lava and blaze powder that it's a good thing I set up this mob farm. In other news, this nether brick casing is just so inefficient that I should probably get a better casing. 1 osmium gear, 1 osmium casing, and an iron combustion heater for extra efficiency. 1 piece of coal makes much more heat units with the osmium casing, a total of 2496. Let's make 8 blank casts. Then 32 firewood. 32 firewood, 8 reinforcement modifiers, 24 silky cloths, 6 silky jewels. Without further ado, stage basic farming and automation is opened up. Please don't mind that floating island, it's gonna take a lot of work. 3 bonsai pots, 3 hoppers, 3 hopping bonsai pots, 4 blue slime balls for a blue slime sapling. Slime saplings will only grow on slimy dirt. With purple slime balls I can make a purple slime sapling. With orange slime I can make an orange slime sapling. Now for 3 slightly larger chests, which can be placed right next to each other. Right click on a bonsai pot to place the sapling inside. Once they grow all the way, they will suddenly revert to their original size, and drop some objects into the chest beneath. In the Bonsai Tree section of JAI, you can check what items that the saplings will drop and their chances, and also how long the saplings will take to grow. To get all these 64 slime balls, it's going to take a lot of waiting for me, and not you. If you don't want to do any waiting, you can plant more bonsai trees, or you can just make all the slime balls yourself. I just have so much time on my hands that I'll leave it alone. By the way, please don't worry too much about the big floating island over there. I'm still working on it, so it's not that great. Also, if you're new to the channel, I'll warn you now, I build most of my base structures in creative. Let's unlock better storage. Success! This means we have access to the drawer controller. I wonder what we're going to do with that. Let's make some oak trim and a framing table, so that we can frame our drawers using stone bricks, chiseled stone bricks, and white stained planks. Let's make them 2x2 frame drawers, and place them on the framing table. I've decided on these blocks, which you can see on top of the framing table. If you have something you think will be a better idea, please let me know. Each frame drawer does consume the block you put in. One drawer controller, one controller slave. Drawers hold fairly large quantities of a single item. 2x2 drawers hold smaller quantities of 4 items. Drawer controllers combine drawers into a single network, and you can use drawer controllers or controller slaves to insert and extract. I can't insert this Inferium essence directly, but this hopper will do it for me. Upgrade template, drawer key, with which I can right-click on the drawer controller to lock all drawers. That means that items will only be able to be inserted if they have a slot already, or if the player puts them in. Finally, a real hopper. You can connect controller slaves to drawer networks using trims. Watch those arrows go. Unfortunately, we have a slight problem: non-stackable items. How do we do it? Well, if you watch the YouTuber Willix, you'll remember the trick that I'm about to pull. However, we're first going to need a colossal chest. 26 colossal chest walls, a colossal chest interface so I can insert and extract, and a colossal chest core. I'll place another drawer sleeve here with its own hopper. Lastly, I'll start building my own colossal chest with an interface right here. You must use an axe to break these blocks. The middle has to be hollow. When we place the last block, it forms. Look how much space we have. And this animation is just beautiful. You'll note that the interface shows up as this little dot. And, though obscured by the latch, this white thing here is a core. One timer from Dark Utilities. Here's my redstone. Although it looks very complicated, it's actually very simple. I have 3 hoppers in series, 2 pointing into a controller slave and 1 pointing into a colossal chest interface. I want any items that can go into the drawer system to go into the drawer system first, and then try to go into the colossal chest. So the minimum hoppers I need is 2, one to get items into the drawer system and the other to get into the colossal chest. Since hoppers pull from above them, even if they point to the side, if I have one hopper on and the other hopper off, for a time items will only get pulled into one system. For example, say this hopper was on and this one was off. Now items would pull from this hopper into the drawer slave. Items that can't go will fill up the top hopper, until it switches and the bottom hopper turns on, pulling items from the top hopper. If so, why can't I just do one slave and one colossal chest wall? Consider the situation: my hopper is filling with items, some can go into the slave and some cannot. And while the hopper is trying to insert items that can go into the slave, the system suddenly switches, and now all those important items are falling into the next hopper and into the colossal chest that doesn't need them. This third hopper here prevents that by being a buffer, so that any drawer items that slip through the first hopper will get into the second hopper and go back into the drawer. Hoppers turn off on redstone signal, so I set up this system that turns some hoppers on and some off. Redstone wires directly from this repeater into this hopper, and also up directly into the top hopper right here. A redstone torch acts like a NOT gate. Give it a redstone signal, it'll turn off. Get rid of the redstone signal, it'll turn on. So, when the redstone signal is off and these hoppers are working, this redstone torch turns on and turns off the middle hopper so that it doesn't work. A redstone tick lasts twice as long as a game tick. When a redstone torch notices that its signal has changed, it takes a full redstone tick for it to switch. So if I perform the switch on the hoppers without thinking about the delay, items could slip between hoppers when they're not supposed to. Thus, I placed a repeater on the top and bottom hoppers with a delay of 1 tick each. That means they change at the same time as the torch does, and all the hoppers change simultaneously. But Jonathan, you ask, what about loot bags? Let's get bag storage and a bag opener. Let's put our drawer key into our offhand and place down 2 drawers which will automatically be locked because of our drawer key, and some trim to connect the drawers to our storage system. Now that these bags are in the drawers, they're going into the bag storage, turning into common loot bags, going into the loot bag opener, and filling up this chest. Previously, items were going out of this bag opener so fast that my hoppers could barely handle it, plus the mob farm. To mitigate that, I've switched the iron hopper for a slower wooden hopper and put a lever on this bag storage in order to turn off this hopper at will. All that remains is to start adding some of these items to more drawers. And that's it for today's episode. Next episode, I'll start Britannia, provided that I have this floating island working. As always, if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. I hope you enjoyed.